So what's happening, people? It's me again, Courtney, doing my MRO predictions. I've been off for a while, not done any videos as such. Just been chilling, been busy as well. But I'm back doing my UFC predictions. UFC 120, Bisping versus Akiyama, which will take place on Saturday the 16th of October at the O2 Arena in London, in the UK. No, I'm not going to the event. I was thinking of going, but I did want a title fight or another big name on the card. So I would say, for me, Congo is a big name. Bisping, Hardy, yes, is a big name, but I would have liked someone like Anderson Silva, BJ Penn, someone to come and spice it up a bit. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Yes, UFC 120, Bisping versus Akiyama. The main event on the card is Michael Bisping versus Yoshihiro Akiyama. Michael Bisping's got a 19-3 record. He's 6'2". Bisping is really technical, stand-up striker, very elusive, good footwork. But when I see him fight, he's fighting. He's like he's punching a punching bag and trying to look good as well. That's what it makes me think. He's looking at himself like, that's what it makes me think every time I see him hit somebody. He's got a really good guard as well. If you watch the Dennis Kang fight, Kang was trying to pass his guard all day but couldn't do it. And when he did get past, as soon as he got past, within 2 seconds the guard was back. He was back in Bisping's guard, in his closed guard or open guard. But for me, Bisping, when he's punching and kicking, he doesn't really seem that powerful. He threw everything at the kitchen sink at Dan Miller, but Miller was just taking him and coming forward still. So his last fight was a win against Dan Miller. His last 5 fights, he's had 3 wins and 2 losses. Bisping's only ever been finished once, and that was by Dan Henderson's big Hulk hand, and then gave him the modified. He gave him a people's forearm instead of the people's elbow, just smashed him. That's the only time he's ever been finished. But he's fighting Yoshihiro Akiyama, who's got a 13-2 record. He's 5'10". Akiyama, I think he's a former K1 Heroes champion. He's got very heavy hands. Let's say very heavy hands. He's got heavy hands. Very quick. He likes to bang as well. He will stand in trade with anyone. And he can take a punch as well. He's a judo black belt. He's used this Asian champion. I can't remember, Japan Cup champion. He's got numerous championships under his belt. His last fight was against Chris Lieben. He lost by submission. Akiyama likes to go. He likes to get into a fight. He likes to scrap. And I think he gets Lieben. He got caught up. But I'm not going to take it away from Chris Lieben because he showed MMA to the fullest in that fight. I was really surprised with that. As I said, his last fight was against Chris Lieben, which was a loss via submission. In his last 5 fights, he's had 3 wins, 1 loss and 1 no contest. Before he got finished by Chris Lieben earlier this year, he was last finished in 2005. So it was a tough guy to finish, both of them. For this fight, I don't think Bisping's going to knock out Akiyama. Alan Belcher and Chris Lieben are not knocking out Akiyama. I don't see how Bisping's going to do it. May catch him with submission. I don't know. I don't know if Akiyama's going to fall for that again. But I can see Akiyama hitting Bisping hard. But I don't know. But for this fight, I'm going to pick the count, Michael Bisping via decision. I think he's going to outpoint Akiyama, circling, moving, kicking, possibly the odd takedown as well. But I think Bisping's going to win that. Next on the card, the co-main event is Dan Hardy versus Carlos Condit. Dan the Outlaw Hardy, 23-7 record, 6 foot, hailing from Team Roughhouse here in the UK. Hardy, very good stand-up fighter. Will stand and bang with people. got good footwork. He counter punches and he can come forward as well. His wrestling, not too sure, but it's getting better. But when you're wrestling against GSP, it's difficult anyway. But Hardy didn't really exhibit any sort of sprawl or takedown. He just kept getting taken down. But yeah, he has got submissions as well. He's a purple belt under Eddie Bravo. Yes, I've seen the submissions and I've felt the submissions as well. I've rolled with the guy, so I know. Yes, he has got submissions. And he can take a punch as well. His last fight was a loss against GSP. That was in March this year. Obviously, he's been in America training since then. I think he was back in the UK. I think it was last month to train with the Rough House fighters. And Dan Hardy hasn't been finished since 2005, so he's a very tough guy to finish. His last 5 fights, he's had 4 wins and 1 loss. And he's fighting Carlos, the natural born killer Condit, or as I like to call him, Carlos Leave It Late Condit. Got 25-5 record. He's 6'1". Carlos Condit, he's got a really good submission game. He's got decent level striking as well. Not as good as Dan Hardy, but still good enough. He's got a good chin, but boy, in his last 2-3 fights in the UFC, he likes to leave it late, very late. In his last fight, it was against Rory McDonald, that young Canadian guy. He was only something like 20 or 21 or something. He left it really late. 4 minutes 53 seconds of the 3rd round. He left it that long to beat him. Probably could have beat him earlier as well, but he didn't. Previous to that, he was fighting Jay Ellenberger, which in that fight, personally, I thought he was out at one point. Carlos Condit was out, but yeah, he won that fight as well. But he left it late again to actually turn it on. But yeah, I don't actually think he listens to his corner sometimes, because I think they're saying things to him, but he's not listening. But yeah, his last fight was a win against Rory McDonald by TKO. His last 5 fights, he had 4 wins and 1 loss. This is going to be a pretty exciting fight. If Condit's going to carry on coming forward and throwing punches, he's going to get smashed in the head. Hardy's going to blast his head off, take his head off into Rose's head, and he won't back off. He will hit like Ellenberger tried to hit him, but he wasn't getting in there. He was hitting him, but Condit was covering up quite good. I don't think Dan Hardy's going to give him that chance if he comes forward anyway. But Condit, if he listens to his corner, he may have a chance. He has to listen to what Greg Jackson's telling him. So if Greg Jackson's saying take him down, take him down. Otherwise, if he doesn't listen, he's going to get smashed. But anyway, I'm going to pick Dan Hardy to win that fight. Condit's a tough guy to finish as well. He hasn't been finished in a while. Let's have a look. Oh, they have a common enemy actually. Yes, they have a common enemy. Pat Healy is Dan Hardy and Carlos Condit's common enemy. Yeah, but I'm going to pick Dan Hardy to win that via TKO or decision. Dan Hardy. Next on the card is John Hitman Hathaway versus Mike Quicksand Pyle. John Hathaway is undefeated. He's got a 14-0 record. He trains at London Street Fighters down in London. 6'2". John Hathaway is really well rounded. He's got good wrestling, good takedowns, got good cardio as well. He beat up Diego Sanchez in their last fight. He won that by decision. Very surprised at that. Really good fight, really good win for him as well. And obviously he's undefeated, so his last 5 fights he's had 5 wins. He's taking on Mike Quicksand Pyle, who's got a 19-7-1 record. He's 6'1". He trains out of Street Couture down in Las Vegas. This guy's submission wizard. He's 19 wins, 17 to come via submission. He's got decent striking as well. His last fight was a win against Jesse Lennox by submission. In his last 5 fights, he's had 3 wins and 2 losses. Hathaway will most probably go for the takedown and ground and pound Mark Pyle. Hathaway's submission defense is good, but he's going to have to be really on point against Pyle, because Pyle It's like like quicksand basically. He'll come up and just. But Pyle can get submitted as well. As I didn't think Brock Larson would submit Mike Pyle. Did anyone think that? No. But anyway, for this fight, I'm gonna pick, as long as Hathaway can stay away from Pyle's. Well, if he gets into his guard, I think he will hurt him. But he's got to be careful. But anyway, I'm going to pick John Hathaway to win that fight via TKO. I don't think Pyle's going to get him in any submission. I don't think so. And that's the only way he'll win via submission. He won't win via knockout or anything like that. The only way Pyle will win is via submission. So I'm picking John Hathaway to win that fight. Next on the card, Chet Congo versus Travis Browne. I'm not really excited about this fight. I've never really been a big fan of Chet Congo. I think he's slightly overrated. Well, he was overrated anyway. Chet Congo, 6'4", 15-6-1 record. Good striker, very strong, well built. His last fight was a win against Paul Mentello. His last 5 fights, he had 3 wins and 2 losses. Congo, his groundwork is poor. In his fight against Cain Velasquez, he was just poor. Velasquez was taking him down. Congo didn't know how to get up or wall walk or anything like that. And when you're a pro, you need to know them things. He may have improved, but we'll see. He's fighting Travis Browne. I don't know much about this guy, but from what I've seen on good old YouTube, he likes to take the fight to the floor, and when he does, he usually gets to mount and pounds people out. That's what he did to Jay McSweeney, and I've seen him do it to someone else as well. Obviously he's undefeated, he's got a 10-0 record. He's supposed to be 6'7", I'm not sure if that's right. And he finishes all of his fights basically. But this fight, I'm not too fussed about it. I'm going to pick Travis Browne to win that fight via TKO. Next on the card is the Ultimate Fighter winner James Wilks versus Claude the Prince Patrick. James Wilks has got an 8-3 record or 7-3 depending on which side you look on. He's 6'1". He's got some 6 submissions, leg locks. He comes from Eric Paulson, round that way. Leg locks. He came to Leicester Shoot Fighters and showed people some crazy ass leg locks, man. And, that's what he's known for basically. He's got okay striking as well. Got a decent chin. But I think he should fight to his strengths and fight. If he needs to get people in submission, just do it. Instead of trying to stand and bang like he did with Matt Browne. You don't want to stand and bang with Matt Browne because he crazy. He just knock people out for fun. But anyway, James Wilks in his last 5 fights had 4 wins and 1 loss. His last fight was a win against Sabata. I think it was Peter Sabata or something, via decision. And he's fighting Claude the Prince Patrick. That's right. He's got a 12-1 record. He's 5'10". His guillotine is a killer guillotine. He's got good submissions. He's got good takedown and cardio as well. His last fight was a win via guillotine against Ricardo Funch, I think it was. His last 5 fights, he's had 5 wins, and he likes to finish his fights. For this fight, I'm going to pick. I'm going to go for James Wilks. I think he's going to do him via Achilles hold or something like that. Some crazy leg lock anyway. If Patrick gets brave and tries to stand up in Wilks' guard, that's what will happen. But Wilks via submission. The undercard's looking decent as well. Broughton fighting a guy from Shootbox. Cyrille Diabate versus Alexander Gustafsson. That would be a good fight. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Leicester Shoot Fighters, LeicesterMMA.com. Follow me on Twitter, same username, chokewho. Follow Leicester MMA on Twitter, at Leicester MMA. But anyway, let me know what you think. Rate, comment, send me a message or whatever. But anyway, peace. Oh yeah, it's on at a decent time as well this time. It's in the UK, so it's on at 8 o'clock in the evening instead of 3 in the morning, which is good. It makes a difference. But anyway, peace.